Good day, students. So we are now in our module 9, presenting the written statement of the problem. Okay, so in our last meeting, module 8 talks about the scope and the limitations of the study. Okay, so I hope you answer all the exercises in module 8 and able to understand the purpose of scope and delimitation. Okay. Okay, so we'll now go to module 9, which is about presenting the written statement of the problem. Okay, so in this module, I will answer again exercises. Okay, so let's proceed to what I know. Okay, so letter A, directions. So read carefully the questions and circle the letter of the correct answer. Okay, let's have this again. Number 1, the statement of the problem or SOP is a blank description of the issues that need to be addressed by the researcher. A, short. B, lengthy. C, wordy. D, elaborate. Okay, the correct answer is letter A, short. Okay, number 2. It should be a blank statement of the whole problem followed by the specific questions or sub-problems into which the general problem is broken up. A, general. B, specific. C, detailed. D, special. Okay, correct answer is letter A, general. Okay, number 3. The problem statement is the research blank during the research process. A, inquiry. B, question. C, guide. D, protocol. Okay, the correct answer is letter C, guide. Okay, for number 4, the problem statement is the blank of the specific questions which the researcher wants to answer. A, verbalization. B, graphical presentation. C, summary. D, gist. Okay, the correct answer is letter A, verbalization. Okay, number 5. The general statement of the problem and the specific sub-problems or questions should be formulated first before conducting the research. A, always true. B, sometimes true. C, false. D, sometimes false. Okay, the correct answer is letter A. You got it right. Okay, number 6. What does it mean by this statement of the problem? Must be a specific question. That's only one meaning or must not have dual meaning. A, SOP must be broad. B, SOP must be general. C, SOP must be wide. D, SOP must be clear. Okay, correct answer is letter D. So SOP must be clear. Okay, number 7. The number of specific questions should be blank to cover the development of the whole research problem or study. A, limited. B, controlled. C, enough. D, few. Okay, the correct answer is letter C, enough. Okay, number 8. What is the basis in writing specific question? The data must be accessible to make the specific question researchable. A. Known facts. B. Controversy. C. Heresy. D. Trends. Okay, the correct answer is letter A. Known facts. Okay, number 9. Answers to each specific questions can be blank apart from the answers to other questions. A. Asked. B. Interpreted. C. Answered. D. Examined. Okay, the correct answer is letter B. Interpreted. Okay, number 10. What is one of the best characteristics of specific questions? A. General. B. Wordy. C. Researchable. D. Broad. Okay, the correct answer is letter C. Researchable. Okay, so we have here for 11 to 15. Select from the choices below which item is not a specific questions of statement of the problem. 11. Tardiness a habit among students? B. What is the profile of the respondents in terms of age and gender? C. What are the causes of the high academic performance of the students? D. What is the relationship between tardiness and academic performance of students? Okay, correct answer is letter A. Okay, number 12. Again, identify which is not a specific question. Okay, 12A. What is the educational attainment for you? B. What is the significant relationship between reading comprehension and the ability to solve math word problems? C. What is the association between the regular exercise and achieving slimmer body? D. What is the relationship between eating fatty foods and high blood pressure? Okay, the correct answer is letter A. Okay, for number 13. What describes the frequency of the use of cell phones of the respondents? B. What is the significant relationship between reading speed and reading comprehension? C. What is the profile of respondents in terms of the number of siblings and average family income? D. Are parents the ones who choose the course of their children? Okay, the correct answer is letter D. Okay, 14. So what do you think is the high academic performance of the students? B. What is the profile of the respondents in terms of age, gender, and grade level? C. What is the association of tardiness and academic performance of students? D. Is there a significant difference between academic performance of students and their habits? Okay, the correct answer is letter A. Okay, 15. Does internet connection affect online learning? B. What describes online learning and the availability of an internet connection? C. Why does online learning affected by the availability of internet connection? D. What are the effects of the availability of internet connection to online learning? Okay, the correct answer is letter A. Okay, so I hope you got all the answers correctly. Okay, so let's go now to presenting the written statement of the problem. Okay, let's go to what's in. So this is a review of your Module 8 topic about scope and the limitations of study. The direction, so answer sentences, answer in at least 3 sentences and maximum of 5 sentences. So you just describe what is again scope and the limitation. Okay? Then, okay, let's go to what's new. So direction, study the given sample of statements of the problem and answer the questions that follow. Okay, so this is the statement of the problem. The main objective of this research undertaking was to investigate the relationship between mobile games and the academic performance of grade 11 students of MNHS. Specifically, this attempted to answer the following questions. 1. What describes the academic performance of the grade 11 EIM students of MNHS? 2. Is there a significant relationship between playing mobile games and the academic performance of the grade 11 EIM students of MNHS? Number 3. What program can be implemented to help parents and the school to regulate students in playing mobile games? Okay, so these are the questions. So you answer this. What is the main problem? So you identify based on this statement of the problem. Then what are the minor or specific problems? Then, okay, that's all. Okay, so you answer this in a separate sheet of paper. Okay, again, do not answer on the modules. Okay, let's have this. What is it? Okay, so let's now have our lesson proper. So what is state of the problem? It is a concise description of the issues that need to be addressed by the researcher. So there should be a general statement of the whole problem followed by the specific questions or sub-problems into which the general problem is broken up. Then the problem statement is the researcher's guide during the research process. It is the verbalization and articulation as well as the analysis of the questions in which the researcher wants the research to answer. Okay, again, so when we talk about statement of the problem, so it is the general picture of your research, okay, or the problem, okay, the whole picture of problem. Example, you want to study about bullying, okay, so that is the general picture of your study, okay, but we need to have a specific questions for that. Okay, what type of bullying are you studying? Okay, so that is the concept of state of the problem. So it is a guide to your study. Okay, because in there you will clearly state what are the issues you are going to answer in your research. Okay, so this will serve as again highlight in your study so that the readers or other searchers can clearly understand what are you going to do in your research. Okay, so this will guide them also that this research will only answer these following questions. Okay, so I hope it is clear the statement of the problem. So I will emphasize it later in following discussions. Okay, so these are the guidelines in formulating the general problem and the specific sub-problems or specific questions. So the following are suggested to guide the researcher in the formulation of his or her general as well as specific sub-problems or questions. So these are the characteristics of specific questions. Okay? Again, so the purpose of these specific questions is to guide you as a researcher. So again, since you are a beginner, So you must bear in mind that you really need to do this before having your research. Okay? So you need to have a research question first because you are like a soldier going to war without knowing your objectives. Okay? So that is the purpose of the scene of the problem. Okay? So it will guide you. Okay? So what will you search? So how will you do it? Okay? Or how will you analyze your data? So it will be answered in your statement of the problem. Okay? Okay, number one. The general statement of problem and the specific sub-problems or questions should be formulated first before conducting the research. Okay? Again, so I said it earlier. So you must make made your statement of the problem first or and sub-problems or the specific questions before conducting your research because it is useless to conduct a study. Okay? Without the specific problems. Okay? Because you will be lost in your research because you will gather too much data and you just needed this part only. Okay? It's like swimming in the ocean. Okay? Without knowing where to go. Okay? So the purpose of the statement of the problem is to give you the direction. Okay? Just like a boat. Okay? So if you have a direction, example, you're going to Samal Island, so that is your objective. Okay? So that is a guide for you on what to do. Okay, number two, it is customary to state the specific problems in the interrogative form. Hence, sub-problems are called specific questions. Okay, take note. The terms so specific problems is called also specific questions. Okay? Again, so it should be in interrogative form because this is your inquiry. Okay? So these are the things that you are looking for the answers. Okay? Okay, number three. Each specific questions must be clear and unequivocal. That is, it has only one meaning. It must not have dual meaning. Okay, take note of this. So, it must be clear and unequivocal. Okay, so it means that so your research questions shouldn't have other interpretation. Okay, so it has no other meaning. So if you mean if you want to define example bullying in this manner, so that should be your definition all throughout your study. Okay, so that is the characteristic of a specific question. It must be clear and specific. So no other or no double meaning. Okay, so that you as a researcher also will not be lost in your study because if it has double meaning, you will not fully understand what are you looking for in your study. Okay, so number four. Each specific questions is researchable apart from the other questions, but that is answers to specific questions can be found even without considering the other questions. Okay? So in number four, so you can understand here that so your specific questions is researchable or it can be answered. Okay? Apart from the other questions. Okay? Then, each questions can be found even without considering the other questions or your questions must be independent of each other. Okay? So they are not interconnected. Okay? So they must be independent. Or you can look for the answers in each questions. Okay? Separately. Okay? Then number five. Each specific questions must be based upon known facts and phenomenon. Besides, data from such known facts and phenomena must be accessible to make the specific questions researchable. Okay, again. So again, your specific questions must be based on known facts and phenomenon. Okay, so do not make questions that is not feasible, and it is not in our real life. Okay, so it must be based on phenomenon or the context of your life or in our life. Okay, then number 6, ask questions. Answer to each specific questions can be interpreted apart from the answers to their specific questions. Okay, so almost the same with number 4. So the each questions or the answers to it can be interpreted, okay, apart from each other. Okay, so they can be interpreted separately. Okay, number 7, answers to each specific questions must contribute to the development of the whole research problem or topic. Okay, so take note. So your research questions must contribute to the development of the whole research problem. Okay, so if you think your questions is nonsense or it is just superficial and or shallow, can be answered only by yes or no. So do not make that type of question because it's very useless. Okay, so you make a research question that is thought-provoking. Okay, okay, let's go to number 8. Okay, summing up the answers to all the specific questions will give a complete development of the entire study. Okay, so take note. So your specific questions will answer your whole study. Okay, so take note of that because again, your questions is interrelated to your statement of the problem or the whole picture of your research. So it will answer the inquiry. Okay, number 9, the number of specific questions should be enough to cover the development of the whole research problem or study. Okay, again, when we talk about uh, research questions, so you must have enough questions for your study. So do not limit it just to only 2 questions, 3. Okay, but in our research, only limit it into 4 since you are beginners. Okay, so 4 questions. I will give example later. Yeah, one of the researches conducted by my former students in practical research 2. Okay, so you just made enough research questions. Okay, not too plenty, not too less. Okay, just enough. Okay, number 10. Generally, there should be a general statement of the problem, and then this should be broken up into as many sub-problems or specific questions as necessary. Okay, again, so the statement of the problem should be, again, broken up into many sub-problems or specific questions. Okay, what's the purpose of this? The purpose of this is to help you digest your inquiry. Because if you only have this side of the problem, it's very broad. Okay, so you will have a hard time in looking for the answers, especially if you're looking in the internet or searching. So there are a lot of resources. I think millions of resources. Okay, so that's why it is divided into specific questions so that you can easily determine the answers to your research. So it's like allocating a budget. Okay, example in your family. So example, uh, your mother and father has a income of 20,000 a month. Okay, that is the total income. Okay, so that is the same of the problem. Example, that is that concept. When you talk about specific problems, it is the budget or the allocation of that 20,000 budget in your family. Could be you will buy something, groceries, paying bills, okay, or medical expenses, okay. So that is sort of analogy to statement of the problem and the research questions, okay. So I hope you get it. Okay, let's go now to, okay, this is a sample of statement of the problem. So this study was conducted to determine the status of the teaching in the science high schools of Province A as perceived by the teachers and students in science classes during the school year 1989-1990. The aspects investigated were the qualifications of teachers, their methods and strategies, facilities, forms of supervisory assistance, problems, and proposed solutions to problems. So this is the general purpose. Okay, so it is already stated here to determine the status of the teaching of science. What is the subject matter? The teaching of science. 10 topics studied. So we have here qualifications of teachers, their methods and strategies, facilities, forms of supervisory assistance, problems, and proposed solutions to problems. And who are the respondents or the population? Teachers and students. Then, period of the study, school year 1989-1990. Okay, so as you can see here, this is similar, or the center of the problem is related or interconnected with the scope and delimitation. Okay, so I'll just present later the separate part of same of the problem, okay, in our own format. Okay, what's more? Okay, activity 1, again, you do this activity. Answer it on a yellow paper. Okay, read the sample statement of problem and be able to answer the questions that follow. Okay, so central problem, the main objective of this research undertaking was to find out what is the comparison of the academic performance of senior high school students who have internet access at home and those who do not have. Okay, specifically, the study aimed to answer the following questions. So, what is the level of the academic performance of the senior high school students who have internet access at home and those who have not? Number 2, is there a significant difference between the academic performance of senior high school students who have internet access at home and those who do not have? Then number 3, what improvement plan can be introduced in school to offer free internet access in schools for free? Then, okay, so you answer now here the find the main problem in this SOP. Then there are specific problems, okay? So you answer this on your yellow paper. Okay, let's have this, what I learned. So again, you answer this. Okay, you just read this in your module and submit this to me. Then again, this what can I do? So suppose you are a researcher who focus on the effects of COVID-19 pandemic to your barangay. So write a probable statement of the problem of your study. Okay? So again, answer it in your paper. And also this assessment. Okay, so in your research paper, in your grading system, so I will put this in your written work, your assessment. Okay, while your activities, it is your performance task. Okay, so I hope you get the concepts. Okay, again, so if you have more questions, clarifications about our topic, so you can PM me or write it in your reflection and thinking log. Okay, so in the thinking log, I think it's that's a part there that you need to clarify something. Okay, so just write it there in your thinking log. Okay, so do not hesitate to ask questions. Okay, because that is the work, or that is the characteristic of being a researcher. Okay, so you ask questions. Then let's have these additional activities. So you answer this again. So write a scenario problem using the given data. Okay, so you write this na. So I know you already know how to make scenario problem. So you practice by making this. Okay, then so I'll present here the specific scenario problem that is used in our study. Okay, so are you ready? Okay, so this is the part or in our research paper. So this is a scenario problem. So this study sought to determine the significant relationship between social media on learning performance among senior high school students. Specifically, it seeks to answer the following questions. Okay, so what is the grade level of, what is the demographic profile of the students in terms of age, gender, grade level, and grade. Okay, so as you can see, this is the SOP. Then this is the specific questions. Okay, as you can see, it's very specific. Demographic profile. So there's plenty of demographic profile. Okay, so you need to clarify what profile are going to gather from your respondents. Okay, so this is now the age, gender. And number 2, what is the level of learning performance of senior high school students? Okay, so example, you have here interactivity with peers, interactivity with teachers. So I indicate here indicators. So these are the indicators of your variables. Okay, so in this study, so again we already discussed variables. So this is the variables used in the study. This is the dependent variable. Okay, so the DV. So this is the indicator. So this will measure the DB or the learning performance. Then number 3. So what is the level of influence of social media in terms of Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram? Okay. So this is the independent variable in this study. Okay. As you can see, it is very specific. Okay. As you can see, so social media is very broad. Okay. So in this study, we only talking about these 3 social media platforms. Okay. So that is how to make a research questions. It must be specific enough. Okay. For you to answer it on the timeline given to you. Okay. So especially now we are only up to December. Okay, to complete your research paper. Okay. Okay, number 4. So is there a significant relationship between learning performance and social media? Okay. So this will answer the statement of the problem. Okay, as you can see. Okay. So that is how to make the scenario problem and the research questions. Okay. So as you can see, this is only 4 questions. Okay. So that is enough for this study. Okay. So if you have questions again and clarifications, do write your email to me or personal message. Okay. So have a nice day and good luck.